Imagine this. 12 people accused, 10 brutally executed.
Gosh.
All stemming from seemingly petty disputes and personal vendettas.
Yikes.
Today, we're going to unearth the truth behind these accusations. What drove neighbors to turn on each other and brand these individuals as witches, conspiring with the devil himself?
It's a story that gets under your skin, doesn't it?
It does.
A story of how quickly fear and suspicion can grip a community.
Hell yeah.
To truly understand the Pendle Witch Trials, we have to step back.
Into 17th century England. Imagine a country still reeling from the aftershocks of the Reformation. Catholicism, though officially outlawed, still clung to the shadows, creating an undercurrent of religious tension with the newly dominant Protestant church. And ruling over it all was King James VI. A monarch utterly consumed by the threat of witchcraft.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
He even wrote a book on it.
What?
Demonology, outlining the dangers of witches and how to identify them.
Oh, my gosh.
His obsession helped fuel a nationwide panic. And the places like Lancashire, with its existing folklore and superstitions, that fear took root with terrifying force.
Okay, so we've got religious turmoil.
Yeah.
And a king who's made witch hunting practically a national sport.
Right.
What else is brewing in Lancashire
Well,
that might have contributed to this perfect storm?
Lancashire was a tough place to live back then.
Okay. Poverty was rampant.
Right.
Especially in the rural areas around Pendle Hill. This desperation, coupled with a lack of education and a deep belief in folk magic, created an environment ripe for accusations. People were struggling to survive. And when misfortune struck, it was easy to blame those who seemed different, who lived on the fringes of the society.
So we've got the stage set for a tragedy. But what actually lit the fuse? What was the spark that ignited the Pendle Witch Trials?
It all started with a seemingly mundane encounter between a young woman named Alazon Device and a peddler named John Law, Alazon, who came from a family already suspected of witchcraft, approached John Law begging for pins.
Pins? What's the big deal?
Now, in the 17th century, pins were valuable, often used in folk magic and healing practices.
So these weren't just any old sewing pins, huh? There was a deeper significance attached to that.
Exactly.
Wow.
And remember, Alazon wasn't just any beggar. She came from a family steeped in accusations of dark magic. Her grandmother, Elizabeth Southerns, or Old Demdike, as she was known, was a local healer, feared and whispered about as a witch for decades.
Oh, my gosh.
So when John Law refused Alazon's request for pins, something shifted. Shortly after, John Law collapsed, struck by a sudden illness.
And of course, in a community already primed for suspicion. This wasn't seen as just bad luck.
No.
Alazon, likely influenced by the belief surrounding her family, confessed to cursing John Law.
That's right.
Wow.
And this confession, fueled by superstition and fear, wasn't just a personal matter. It was a spark that would soon ignite a wildfire of accusations, engulfing not only Alazon's family, but another family known as the Chaddixes. Long-standing rivals of the Demdikes. It was a feud that had been simmering for years, perhaps over resources, land, or even just plain animosity. But with the specter of witchcraft looming, their rivalry transformed into something far more sinister.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
These accusations were like something ripped from a nightmare. Murders, curses, pacts with the devil, all hurled back and forth between the Demdikes and the Chaddixes. You have to wonder, were these accusations rooted in any truth? Or were they fueled by desperation? A way to lash out at their enemies in a society where the accusation of witchcraft was a powerful weapon.
So we've got these two families locked in this bitter feud, each accusing the other of conspiring with the devil. Where do the authorities come into the picture? At what point do these whispers and accusations turn into an official investigation?
Well, the authorities were already on high alert because of King James's obsession with witchcraft. And then there was a gathering at Malkin Tower, the Demdike family's home, on Good Friday, 1612. It was supposed to be a meeting of those accused and their supporters. But imagine how this must have looked to outsiders, especially those already suspicious of witchcraft. A group gathered in a remote location, led by a woman with a reputation like Old Demdike. It's easy to see how this event would have solidified their fears.
Malkin Tower. This gathering on Good Friday, it sounds like something straight out of a horror story. Was this place really a haven for witches? Or was it just a desperate family seeking solace in a time of crisis?
That's the mystery, isn't it? Malkin Tower itself is shrouded in legend. Was it a place of dark rituals and evil plots? Or simply the home of an impoverished family struggling to survive, whatever the truth? The authorities saw it as a confirmation of their worst fears. The meeting at Malkin Tower led directly to the arrests of the accused witches, setting the stage for one of the most notorious trials in English history. And central to those trials was the testimony of a 9-year-old girl, Janet Device, Alazon's younger sister.
A 9-year-old as the star witness. That sends chills down my spine. Imagine the weight of this child's words, shaping the fate of so many lives. What kind of testimony did Janet Device give?
Janet's testimony was shocking, filled with vivid descriptions of familiars, those demonic creatures said to be bound to witches. She claimed to have witnessed acts of magic, curses being cast, even shape-shifting. And remember, this was a time when belief in the supernatural was deeply ingrained. A child's word, especially one claiming to have seen such things, carried immense weight.
But how reliable could the testimony of a child be, especially in such a charged atmosphere? Was Janet manipulated? Was she simply repeating what she thought the adults wanted to hear? Or did she truly believe what she was saying?
Those are questions that still haunt historians today. It's impossible to know for certain what was going through Janet's mind. Was she a frightened child caught in a web of lies? Or did she genuinely believe she was witnessing acts of witchcraft? Whatever the truth. Her testimony had a devastating impact on the accused, painting them as truly dangerous, conspiring with evil forces to bring harm to their community.
So we've got these accusations fueled by fear, superstition, and personal vendettas. Then we have this gathering at Malkin Tower, seen as confirmation of witchcraft. And then we have the chilling testimony of a young girl, cementing the image of these individuals as a true threat. How did the actual trials unfold? What evidence was presented? And how did the accused defend themselves against such terrifying charges?
The trials were held at Lancaster Assizes, and it was a spectacle. A public display of the state's power over those accused of witchcraft. The evidence presented was a mix of eyewitness accounts, often contradictory and unreliable, and the confessions of some of the accused, likely coerced under duress or out of genuine fear. It was a legal system deeply flawed, operating under the shadow of King James's witch-hunting mania, where superstition and fear were often given more weight than actual evidence.
It sounds like a complete nightmare, a system designed to condemn rather than seek justice. But let's talk about the individuals caught in this web of accusations. Who were these people? What were their stories?
Each of the accused had their own unique story, their own motivations, and their own way of facing their accusers. You had Old Demdike, a figure already shrouded in folklore, seen as the leader of this supposed coven. Then there was Anne Whittle, known as Chattox, the matriarch of the rival family. She confessed under duress, but pleaded for mercy for her daughter Anne Redfern, a testament to a mother's love, even in the face of such terror.
It's heartbreaking to imagine the desperation, the fear, the sense of betrayal these individuals must have felt as their own community turned against them. Were there any among the accused who maintained their innocence throughout the ordeal?
Yes. There was Alice Nutter. She was a wealthy widow, which made her a particularly interesting case. She remained silent throughout her trial, refusing to confess or to implicate anyone else. Was she protecting others, or was she simply defiant, refusing to play along with what she saw as an absurd and unjust charade? Her silence only fueled the mystery surrounding her and made her an even more compelling figure in this tragic drama.
It's fascinating to see how the different personalities of the accused come through, even centuries later, some broken by the accusations, others defiant to the very end. But ultimately, what were the outcomes of these trials? Did anyone escape the hangman's noose?
Tragically, most did not.
Oh, gosh.
10 of the accused, including Old Demdike's daughter Elizabeth Device and Anne Redfern, were found guilty and hanged on August 20th, 1612.
Oh, wow.
It's a chilling thought. Their lives cut short, their names forever tarnished by these accusations. But there is one exception.
One person who managed to slip through the cracks of this witch hunt.
Yes, Alice Gray. She was found not guilty and released.
Wow.
It's a small glimmer of hope amidst this darkness, a reminder that even in a system consumed by fear and prejudice, justice could sometimes prevail.
It's a testament to humans' resilience, isn't it?
Yeah.
That even in the face of such overwhelming odds, there were those who fought back, who clung to their innocence. But looking back on the Pendle Witch Trials, knowing the fear, the betrayals, the tragic loss of life, what can we learn from this dark chapter of history?
The Pendle Witch Trials serve as a stark warning about the dangers of unchecked power and the fragility of justice in the face of mass hysteria. It's a reminder that when fear and suspicion take root, they can poison even the closest of communities, turning neighbor against neighbor.
It makes you wonder, doesn't it, how easily we can be swayed by rumors and accusations, how quickly we can turn on those we perceive as different, as threatening. It's a chilling reminder of the darkness that can lurk within the human heart.
Exactly. The Pendle Witch Trials weren't an isolated incident. They were part of a broader pattern of witch hunts that swept across Europe and America, claiming the lives of thousands of innocent people. These events serve as a stark reminder of the importance of critical thinking, of questioning assumptions, of demanding evidence, and of standing up for those who are unjustly accused.
It's a lesson we can't afford to forget, can we? The echoes of the Pendle Witch Trials still resonate today, reminding us that the fight for reason, for justice, for compassion is a fight that never truly ends.
It's a fight we must all engage in to ensure that the horrors of the past are not repeated.
Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the Haunt Narratives. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and leave a comment below. A special shout out to our new listeners down under in Australia.